A few months ago, I looked the worst that I have in my entire life. My face got really fat, my cheeks got really puffy, and I looked like a different person. Not only that, but I also lost my jawline. Until eventually I realized that I could turn this into a positive thing. And it's because I realized a lot of the bad things that I was doing are probably things that you're doing right now that are giving you a fat face or chubby cheeks or whatever that actually make you look worse. So here are the 6 things that I did to completely transform my face, getting rid of my chubby cheeks and a lot of my face fat. It all really begins at your diet. So a few months ago when I noticed I started looking so much worse, there was one night where I started binging out on sweet foods because I have a really bad sweet tooth. So anything with sugar I really like. But I remember going up, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just had a craving for chocolate. So I looked through my pantry, dug through everything until I found some like chocolate nuts. I literally ate all of them. And then I went to the next chocolate thing, the next thing, until eventually I was completely stuffed with all of this sugar and I felt horrible. I know you guys know the feeling of like maybe binging or just consuming too much food. And you would expect that these cravings that you have of these sweet foods would go away after you eat them, when in reality this was the opposite of the truth. It's when you start eating sugar, you get actually more and more addicted to it. So this became a daily habit of just consuming sugar, whether it was through candy or other sweet things like fruit or cake or whatever the case may have been. Now, here's the biggest issue. Sugar is arguably one of the worst things for your face for a few different reasons. Number one, it is very high in calories most of the time. So you'll notice most sweet foods that you eat are high in calories unless it's fruit. Now, that leads to another problem. When you're eating fruit, there are certain fruits like grapes, for example, that have higher sugars than other fruits. And the thing is, when you eat sugar, it's actually inflammatory, meaning that it might make your face look bloated. It might make you look a lot bigger or chubby in the face, when in reality, it's actually just water retaining in your face due to the sugar that you're eating. I initially tried cutting out any sort of candy that I was eating and replacing it with, I guess, fruit. But the issue is that this actually didn't really fix much other than the fact that I was consuming fewer calories. My face felt really puffy, and worst of all, I actually got a lot of acne from this because, like I was saying, sugar is inflammatory to your gut, meaning that when your gut's inflamed, it's not good. It makes your face like break out. It causes a lot of different issues. So the first thing that I would recommend doing is watching your sugar intake regardless of if it's healthy sugar or candy. Even if you're eating foods like fruit, there is still going to be some effects like maybe even acne or I guess just bloating of the face that you might not expect simply because it's a healthy food. The second thing, and I bet a lot of you guys didn't know this, but I started drinking a lot of coffee at this time. I was very stressed and I felt very tired throughout the day. So to cope with this, I started drinking coffee, actually 2 cups per day. I would wake up every morning, I would pour myself a cup of like iced coffee, and as soon as I had that first sip, I would get that hit of dopamine. So it wasn't only, I guess, a dietary thing or something where I was eating food. It was more so a way to make me happy because I guess a few months ago when I started looking worse, I genuinely just wasn't a happy person. So I would drink 2 cups of coffee to sort of cheer me up, give me more energy. But what I didn't know is that this had the opposite effect and actually caused a lot more issues. So let me explain. When you drink, for example, 2 cups of coffee like I was, that amount of caffeine might actually keep you up at night and hurt your sleep. And that's 100% what it was doing. I would lay restless at night thinking, why am I so tired every morning when I wake up? Yet when I try to go to sleep, I literally can't sleep. I can close my eyes, I can lay there for however long, but I can't sleep. This is because of the caffeine. And when I was drinking it, I was assuming it would give me more energy, when in reality, it was actually hurting my sleep so bad that it completely wiped out my energy, even though you would expect caffeine to help. Now the question is, why did drinking caffeine make my face look worse and make my cheeks and face look so much more chubby? So there's a few reasons for this. Number one is that when I would drink this coffee, I would add a lot of sugar. So I would add honey and then all of these things. So that was the first issue. That's relating with the first thing that I told you. But not only that, when you stay up late at night, what is bound to happen? A lot of times you'll get hungry, you'll eat foods that you're not supposed to, and you'll gain weight. You'll gain a lot of fat by doing this. So by simply lowering my caffeine intake over these last few weeks that I started noticing a massive difference in my face, my sleep got so much better. Sleep is literally your recovery state. So you want to try to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, maybe even 10. And you want to have quality sleep. So you don't want to have any lights in your room. It should be pitch black if possible. You want to turn your phone off at least an hour before you go to sleep. And I like to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. All you need to do is swipe this tab in the top right of your phone. So swipe it down, go to this screen, and then click this little moon icon. Or you can turn your phone on airplane mode. The reason I do this is because when you get a notification late at night, let's say it's stressful, it's a stressful text, maybe you're talking to a girl or anything, I don't know what the case may be. If you see something that stresses you out, this will keep you up at night because it'll be dwelling in your thoughts and it'll actually ruin your sleep. So I used to think people would tell you to turn your phone off just because the brightness of the screen, which is bad. Yes, the brightness on your screen might convince you that it's daytime and kill your melatonin, but the other bad part is the fact that it might stress you out, or even worse, actually give you dopamine. You start scrolling on TikTok, you start watching porn or whatever the case may be. This amount of dopamine before you go to sleep is not something you want. The third thing that completely changed the way that my face looks, helped me slim it down, helped get rid of acne and absolutely everything, was actually meal prepping. So there's this place locally called Ideal Nutrition. I started eating 2 meals per day. It's like $7 per meal. It's really high in protein, really low in calories. My favorite one that they have is chicken parm. And the best part about it is that when I only get these meal prep foods, I don't really have any junk food lying around my apartment. It is only the healthy things. So when I don't give myself an option to binge eat or eat things that I'm not supposed to, you simply don't. And when you eat things like this that are high in protein, it's actually going to satiate you, which means it's going to make you more full with less food. The other really nice part about this is when I started eating fewer calories, I noticed I started getting insane abs. So I have like pretty much a 6-pack right now that completely came back just because I started eating the right foods and it wasn't really hard at all. The other part about this that's really nice is that it's just straight microwavable. It takes no time, so there's not really an excuse to go get anything else unless it's, I guess, fast food. But luckily right near me I have a Chipotle, which actually does serve pretty healthy food. I used to work there and all of their stuff is pretty fresh. Limiting your food options to only really having healthy foods around your house will help you so much. And it also kind of just keeps you feeling nice. I mean, I don't know, you don't really have to think about what you're eating throughout the day because you know every single day I'm going to eat this, and that, and that's it. If your abs start to come in, that's a really good sign that you're losing fat, and that also means that you're going to lose it on your face. Now, sadly, losing fat on your face is the literal last to leave. It's the most stubborn fat that you have on your body, and you cannot spot reduce fat, meaning I can't just choose to lose fat in my chubby cheeks. That's not possible. You have to lose it amongst your entire body. The fifth thing that I did that has made such a massive difference, and I already touched on this a little bit, but I cannot emphasize it enough, it was perfecting my sleep. So I'm about to get really scientific here because I've learned a lot about it and I've done so much research on this, but if you do consume caffeine throughout the day, which I do, I usually drink 1 cup of coffee instead of 2. Actually, even less than that. I drink like a 1/4 cup of coffee because I just can't handle that caffeine. What you want to do is actually wait until you're about awake for about 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up. Now, the reason you want to do this, Andrew Huberman, he's a doctor, he actually explains this, and it's because you have these things called adenosine receptors. Now, adenosine receptors essentially get attacked by adenosine, and adenosine is a chemical in your body that makes you feel tired. Now, what happens is when you go to sleep, especially deep sleep, your adenosine receptors reset. The reason that you want to wait to drink caffeine is because apparently, and this is according to Dr. Andrew Huberman, when you wake up in the morning, your adenosine receptors are still being reset for the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking up. And what this means is that you essentially are feeling less tired as you stay awake. Now, drinking any sort of caffeine actually puts a wall between your adenosine and the adenosine receptors, meaning that if you drink coffee, let's say right when you wake up, it's actually keeping the adenosine from leaving the receptors, keeping you more tired. This is also why humans have caffeine crashes. It's because essentially when the caffeine starts wearing off, it lifts the wall between the adenosine and the receptors. That's like an analogy to do it. Obviously, there's not a physical wall in your body, but by waiting till later in the day, about 60 to 90 minutes to consume caffeine, you're gonna notice that you actually feel so much more awake. Additionally, I started wearing a sleep mask every night. When you block out light when you sleep, it simply just gives you higher quality sleep, meaning that let's say you have any light coming through your room. Right behind my camera, I have this blind and I do close it, but there are peeps of light that come through, and when you cut that off, your quality of sleep, especially when the sun comes up in the morning and you're still not awake, it's so much better. You wake up feeling so much more rested. The reason that dialing in your sleep is so important is obviously it's going to make your health so much better. Sleep is arguably one of the most important things for your health, and not only that, it's going to make you look a lot better. You wake up, your eye bags are not going to be as worse. You're less prone to having acne. You're not going to be as inflamed in the face, meaning that you're going to have a better jawline, less chubby cheeks, simply by fixing your sleep. The sixth thing, and in my opinion the most important thing, is I started caring again. I'm not going to lie, for the last, I'm not sure how long, I stopped caring about myself, and I just didn't take care of myself as much as I should. And it's not all about looks, no, but when you look better, that's a sign of progress. which is why I kind of use it as a metric in a way to explain things in my videos, because when you see yourself look better, it gives you that motivation and confidence boost to really just keep going. And I guess a part of me stopped caring because I had other worries, but I think it's always important to prioritize your health. And looking better is just a sign of prioritizing your health most of the time. Like, most of these things that I told you to do are honestly going to not only make you look better, but also improve your overall health. If you do the things that I told you in this video, I promise you that you are going to look so much better. Your face is going to get slimmer, and yeah, it's going to help you a lot. With this all being said, this is not my normal type of video. If you want to watch a more personal storytelling type video, click right here.